Alright, so we're going to be doing a spark plug change on my wife's 2016 Ford Expedition today. Should be pretty basic in and out, but I'm not going to lie, I've never done it before either, so it'll be a little bit of experimentation as I work, but I'll tell you guys how it goes. To start off, when you pop the hood, you see this huge shield that hides everything. And all you have to do, you can see the hole there where the fill neck for the oil comes through, you just take your oil cap off and the whole thing pops right out. It just sits back on the engine. Looks like it's got some little hinge here where it snaps back in and sits in that little hooks right there. So you take that off, and then this chunk of foam is sitting on the back, covers up one of the spark plugs, but it just literally just sits there. So here's our spark plugs hiding underneath here. 1, 2, 3 on each side. This is a V6, it's a 3.5 liter Ecoboost. On top of our spark plugs here, takes the place of the spark plug boot. These are actually your individual coils on each spark plug. So we'll disconnect this wiring harness, and yeah, probably disconnect that clip because that's pretty tight. We'll disconnect that clip, and then it looks like you pull this screw. This coil should just pop off just like the spark plug boot and should expose our spark plug underneath. So they say, but I'll show you once I figure it out. Okay, yeah, so far so good. Just pull that retainer screw out, and then you're able to pull the coil out. It's just laid up there. It looks kind of funny, but it really does just takes the place of the spark plug boot. So popped it out, and then you can look down in, you can see our spark plug is way down in that hole. But luckily I've got a little spark plug socket here that's got the little rubber grommet in it, so if we can get enough extensions to reach all the way down there, we should be able to back it out and fish it out of there. I did already lose one of my extensions. My little 1/4-inch drive extension fell down somewhere in here. I don't know, we didn't hear it hit the ground, we didn't hear it hit metal, but who knows, probably gone forever. All right, so 1 of 6, we're gonna go through and do them one at a time, hook it all back up as we go, just so we don't get anything mixed, which the wires are all so tight, it's not like you can get your plug wires messed up on this like you could on an older vehicle, but anyway, we'll try to go through just for discipline, one at a time. Okay, so we got the first 3 done on the, I guess you'd say passenger side. I can't remember left, right, or front to back when people are talking about an engine, but got those first 3 down. We were checking them as we pulled them out because by the spec it says the spacing is supposed to be a 0.035 gap on the spark plugs. The first 2 that we pulled out were what, 0.041? Yeah. And the last one that we pulled out in the back was a 0.035. Now the new ones we're putting in are measuring about a 0.032. Somewhere in there, 031 to 032, and they say that they are non-adjustable, which we're going right back with Ford Motorcraft spark plugs for this engine. Spark plug gap is not adjustable, so I bought the little measuring tool to see if it should be adjusted or not, but we're not going to adjust them. We're going to put them in just how they are. So anyway, we're going to jump over here to the other side and do these last 3. I was trying to think if there's anything I've learned for you guys so far that's a tip, but really, if I can get my boy off my stool here, really, it's they're really not bad. You just have to get this little clip here, you pull it back, and that's only halfway. You got to get it to go all the way, which I think you got to push that little button. At least I got the last one to pull all the way out, and then it's still, I mean, these little clips, they work great, but I never trust them. I feel like I break them every time I take them off. So anyway, you got to kind of finagle that with a flathead screwdriver to get it out of there. But then once you get that clip off, like I said, the coil just, you take out that bolt right there, and the coil just pulls right off, just like a spark plug boot. Oh, fuck! All right, well, you guys got some fun footage there of me trying to fish out that busted piece of plastic. You can see it was just the shoulder right there on top of that independent coil. Somehow that plastic solder just busted off, and then when I pulled the coil out, of course, it fell down in there, but I was able to snake it out with that piece of wire. But I wanted to show you guys what I think I just figured out on these clips. Of course, on the last one, I broke every other one, but hopefully they stay and don't shake loose over time. But this little clip, I think this is the proper way to do it. You pull this red back just, you know, part way. You just pull it back real easy, and then you can push down on that gray right there where my thumbnail's at. You can push down on that little gray switch, and when I did that, it pulled right out. Now something else interesting, listen. A vacuum leak or an air leak when I push against this hose, but it seems like it only does it when I'm, oh, there it is. There it is. Little vacuum line of some sort leaking when I get it in the bind. I'll have to look into that. Anyway, so yeah, I got that clip off. That was much easier once you have a right idea of how to pull it. So this will be our last spark plug, and we'll be done. All right, so I just got the last one swapped out. Just one thing I wanted to mention to you guys, this little clip right here is in the way. You can't pull that coil off with that clip there, but you reach underneath. The release for it is right here. It's a little button to release it, and it pops right off. So just figured I'd mention to you, you do have to take that, at least I tried to wiggle around. I picked up, tried to rotate the coil around any way that I could. I just couldn't get out quite past it, but it unclips easy. So just pop it out of your way, and then that coil slides right out. So that's all 6 of them done. We're gonna start the engine and listen to it, which, I mean, it's not like anything's gonna change, but we'll put our shields and stuff back on here, because if this fixes it, great. If it doesn't, then it took all of a second to take those shields off. If this replacing spark plugs doesn't work, then we're going to go through and we're going to replace the independent coils. But we wanted to go with the spark plugs first, because they're only $8 a piece versus the coils that are like $60 to $70 a piece. So since we're troubleshooting basically unknown, well, I'll just tell you guys what happened. The wife just called me, and she said every time she would get into it, like trying to pass in traffic, the engine would stutter and her engine light would flash. Yeah. But then the first couple times it did it, once she shut the car off, turned it back on, the engine light went away. So I said, well, until the engine light comes on and stays on, we have no idea. But we figured, you know, it had to be something fuel, ignition related, nothing catastrophic, transmission like that. So finally the engine light came on, stayed on. Hey, look at this. I never hooked up my front. That might have made her run a little rough, huh? Put that spark plug wire back on. But yeah, so finally the engine light came on, stayed on, and so we took it and had the codes read, and it was, it had P030, that's broken, of course, P030 or P00300, something like that, which is random misfire, and then it had 301 and 302, which are misfire cylinder 1 and cylinder 2, respectively. We were looking for charts to see what the cylinder count was on this thing. Whether it goes 1, 2, 3 down one side, or whether it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back and forth, doesn't really matter. But we said we're just gonna go through and replace all 6 spark plugs anyway. This thing's got almost 90,000 miles on it. For all we know, those are the original plugs. So decided we'd go back through. I mean, it's not worth trying to replace one by one on something like that anyway. Just go through and replace all 6. Make sure that plug is tight, especially since that red tab on it's busted. But it should be, and the plug should still lock as long as the gray tab isn't broken, which that gray tab looks like it's busted too. Terrific. I love when this stuff just breaks. All right, so that's it. Let's put our shields back on, pick our tools up, start the car and see what it does.